Good afternoon, Blacks in Cyber Winter Conference 2021. Welcome to my talk on the car hacking village. Who am I and how did I get here? I'm Kirsten Renner, Director of Recruiting at Nevada, an advanced analytics and full spectrum cybersecurity firm. I threw in a cheap plug there about the jobs we have open and the referral bonuses that we pay that are awesome. More about Nevada and what we do on the cyber side, I think will interest a lot of this audience. We do defense and offense enablement, forensics, incident response, lots of cool stuff. You name it, we're doing it. So for more information, you can look on our site. As far as the cyber world goes, hacker world in particular, I've been in the community since about 2010 when I went to my first DEF CON, and I've been volunteering in the community ever since. I'm going to say a lot about volunteering in this talk because not only am I going to tell you what the car hacking village is in particular, but what the purpose and mission of all the villages are and how it can impact you personally in your career. So last year I actually spoke at DEF CON in the career hacking village via safe mode, which is virtual like the conference that we're having here today. My involvement in the car hacking village, as well as all the other community involvement that I've done, has been really for the purpose of helping both sides, helping hiring managers and candidates, but primarily candidates throughout their career journeys. So when and how did the car hacking village start? Now, when I tell this story, know that if it wasn't me, it would have been somebody else. But it just so happens that a colleague at work reached out to me and asked if I knew anyone specifically at DEF CON that could help them get the village started. He was speaking to somebody in the field that he was working with on a mission, and they were looking to start the village. They being Robert Leali, more about him later. So few DMs, and next thing you know, we're starting our first iteration, and I just couldn't leave it at that. I just stayed involved and in any way that I could. So you'll find that as I describe what's happening at villages and throughout the community, there's different layers of people involved. And this could be describing you, a hobbyist, somebody that just has an interest, I'm not an engineer. I just have an interest. And so the community embraces those with curiosity and interest. And I have a lot of cool stories about people who took that interest and turned it into career changing for them. So what is the purpose of Car Hacking Village, as well as any of the other villages that you'll find at various conferences throughout our community regarding cars in particular? I don't have to tell you that you and everyone you know are impacted by the technologies in cars and the safety issues potentially that they're facing. So I don't need to describe that to you, but I just want you to think for a second about your car or the next car that you get in. And when you're in it, I want you to stop. I want you to remember this, and I want you to think, how much data is in the car? How much data is flowing through the car and why? And being shared elsewhere and is potentially accessible and attackable. So think about that. Any car manufactured in the last decade or more, frankly. So the purpose of the villages and the passion of all these people, and we've got at any given time upwards of 50 volunteers that are part of the Car Hacking Village family. And when we take our big group picture, when we get to do it in person, which hopefully we will again soon, there's a giant crowd of folks, and we're all there for this purpose. think of the village as a constant, incessant cycle of teaching and learning, teaching and learning, teaching and learning, being in front of, as technologies advance, the next potential vulnerability that could lead to some type of safety issue. And so the purpose is to teach and to learn, teach and to learn, and to keep us all safe. So very cool. Car Hacking Village keeps you safer. They really do. So it's not just CAN bus, which I think you've all heard of. I will give you a tiny bit of information about CAN bus here in a second. It's going to be coming from layman's terms because that's my perspective, which I think is also cool, right? I think it's cool that you are going to hear from somebody who came in with no knowledge and learned a little bit. And I will give you avenues where you can learn as well. So it's also Wi-Fi and key fobs and LiDAR, which is what's going to help with the autonomous driving and what's going to help with the automatic braking, and which I just discovered in my new vehicle was a feature I didn't even realize. One day the car just screamed at me to stop because I was too close to someone. Cool, I didn't realize I pressed the button and turned the radar on. Side story about LiDAR I think it was RSA, it was a few years ago. We did a little experiment. We had some LiDAR set up and I covered somebody in foil just to see if they would become invisible. And they did. It was really cool. So, and GPS, of course, your GPS tracker, your Bluetooth, I didn't even mention that, the Ethernet inside your vehicle, I didn't even mention that, and much, much more. So lots of different technologies going on inside of your car. So some very bare bone basics. I am not a hacker, if that wasn't obvious to you already. Not really. I'm like a mini script kiddie. I've done some little tricks and things, and I've watched other people do it. I've watched other people learn. The coolest thing I ever did to a car with a badge, more on badges later, was in partnership with my son, who was a teenager at the time. We unlocked the doors on my CTFs a few years ago. So CAN bus is it's a network. It's a roadway that signals are traveling on. Had someone describe it to me once as similar to the pituitary gland being a messaging delivery service inside your body, where your brain is telling your body what to do. It's similar to that, right? Like, so it's sending signals to your airbags, to your audio system, and your windows and your seatbelt, even in some cases. So it's pretty cool. Carhackingvillage.com has a ton of resources and data on it for you. It's going to break down CAN in a much more articulate way that I just did. It's going to tell you a little bit about the profiles of some of the key players in the car hacking family. There's a lot more people to talk about, and you can find most of us, all of us, on Twitter. YouTube has an absolute abundance of information on it as well. If you ever missed a talk, guess what? You can find it there. You can just type Car Hacking Village on YouTube, and it's going to not just show you talks, but some other quick content like little 5-minute interviews and stuff. There's some cool little intakes from folks live in the village showing you what they're doing and what's going on. And you can check out if you get a chance a lot of the fun things that happened last year at Safe Mode, like remotely hacking one of our cars, not mine. I don't have a Tesla, but very cool stuff. So what does the Car Hacking Village actually do? If you've never been there, what can you expect? If you were to go there, what are you going to see and find? We have a big part of the village is the capture the flags. Never participated in one. It's a contest. It's games. It's a whole bunch of different levels throughout the weekend of things you can do. And most conferences have CTFs, multiple CTFs with cool prizes. And oh my God, we gave away a Tesla. We gave away a really cool truck, gave away a motorcycle one year. We gave away a really cool four-wheeler one year. So we give away cool prizes and you're learning the whole time. When I say we smashed a Tesla, yeah, we did. It was brand new. We would roll the dice every hour, and then whoever, you would come in and you would smash the hood. But well, most of the damage happened to the hood, and the rest of it was cosmetic. There's nothing under the hood, by the way. So it was cool and it was exciting, but we really didn't hurt the car. And then the winners of the CTF got to choose cash or the car. They chose the car. I mean, who wouldn't choose the car? Very cool. So a lot of fun stuff to do there. I recommend participating in CTFs if you get a chance. It's a lot of fun. One of the first kind of contests I ever participated in years ago was social hacking one day. I think it was at DEF CON. We were just sort of prank calling people, but anyway, it was cool. So talks are a big deal. Again, I told you that you can see them on our site. You can see them on the DEF CON archive has a lot of the talks as well, and on YouTube. What's cool about talks, and more about this later, you're not just learning from the content from the speakers. And sometimes it's a panel, sometimes it's individual speakers. A lot of them are interactive. They'll talk to you before and after. Talk to the people that are there. These are people that have a common interest with you. They're in the room with you. You have a common interest. So while you're there, speak to those people. Figure out, what are you doing there? What's your interest? Why are you there? And a really cool networking opportunity as well. I do remember, I should say, I mentioned 3PO here. It is, I believe, a Grimm product. It's from the Grimm company. They do a lot of car hacking. I call it a dashboard on a desk. I don't know if they'll appreciate me calling it that, but I can remember our first ever car hacking village. Like I said, way back in 2014, we were in a very crowded, large conference room space, our conference arena space, and we had a long table with, some of us set up answering questions and paperwork and stuff, and then there was this little table that had like the first iteration of a 3PO on it, and it looked like a cool science fair project. It's similar to Car Hacking Village. It has grown and become much more complex and detailed and cool. But demos like that are, just imagine you're a kid at a science fair or whatever, and you walk in and there's stuff everywhere, and you can tinker with it, you can take it apart, you can play with it, you can watch people do it, you can do it yourself and learn. So hands-on learning is the best way to learn, and the people that are there can explain what's going on. You can plug and fool around with stuff. So it's very cool. My favorite thing, and frankly, one of the biggest attractions of the village every year, year after year, at all of the in-person events that we do. Now, Car Hacking Village is going all around the country and all around the world, dozens of different places all throughout the year during normal circumstances. And but DEF CON being the biggest event of the year, people will line up for their badges. They line up for their badges. The picture that you see here is my personal badge collection, just my car hacking badges. They're all functional. So when you get in line early. People sometimes camp out. I don't know if that's necessary, but get in line early. We've had fire marshals shut us down for blocking entryways and stuff for the line. It's pretty crazy, but it's fun. It's exciting. And as you can see, most of them have, I wish this was like an animated picture and you could see these all lit up. They're very cool when they're lit up. Lots and lots of LEDs, but besides LEDs, what's going on? You see down in the bottom right-hand corner, that's actual little autonomous vehicle that you can drive. Most of them have ODB2 ports on them. What is that? What is that? You have it in you have the port in your car. So when you go to the auto mechanic and they charge you $250 for a diagnosis. All they did was plug this in and read the code and have something tell them what that code means. When the dashboard lights up and it shows a little picture and you wonder what the picture is, boom, this tells you. That's what that is. In fact, our first CTF that we ever did, I believe, and I look at this picture right next to the car, I think that was our first ever badge. And the CTF was to physically connect that to as many cars as you can to capture VINs. So sure, some people scripted some VIN generators and got lots of VINs, but the people with the most VINs won the contest. I think we gave away a drone that year. We were poor, but we did the best we could. Listen, the SDK code is always on our site. There's repositories on GitHub, lots of information on how to hack these badges, how to use these badges, how to connect these badges and do fun stuff with them. So like I said, one's an autonomous vehicle. Most of them are the ODB2s. The upper left-hand corner, the little spaceship guy you see there, has actual automotive Ethernet cable connectors. That's very cool as well. Works like any other Ethernet network in the car. Other than, I believe, the distance is smaller, 15 yards maybe. I don't know, but it's shorter. Other than that, badges are cool, they're fun, and a lot you can learn from those as well, and a lot of content available on our site. So how can you get involved with Car Hacking Village or any other village? The IoT Village, the Biohacking Village, the Voting Machine Village. You can go in and you can, first of all, research what villages are going to be at the conferences, all of the conferences. Heck, if you can't, if DEF CON's not accessible to you because it's large and far away, there's a B-sides in your area, I promise. No matter where you are in the country or the world, there's probably a B-sides nearby. They're less expensive, they're smaller, they're more intimate, and they have villages also. And so research what villages are happening at the conferences near you that you plan to attend, and contact them and tell them you want to be a volunteer. Maybe you're going to be the person selling badges, selling the entry tickets, just giving information, telling people where to go, being a runner, stuffing goodie bags. There's so many ways for you to get involved. And when you're doing that, you're going to make such valuable relationships. One of my in real life nearest, dearest friends today, I met at a conference. I believe I met her at TourCon 11 or so years ago. Very cool, very random. We knew someone in common. We all ended up in the same spot and became friends. So very cool. A lot of influencers are involved, and you're going to learn from those people. So do it. Be involved in the community. It frankly, and when I use the word infiltrate, I don't use it in a bad way. You're infiltrating a community. If you're not part of that community, how do you get in? Well, this is a really, really cool way. Become a genuine contributor to the community. What better way to get involved and to learn and to network? And guess who's going to be at all those tables that you see? Whether it's the village area or the vendor area, you're picking up swag, who are you talking to? You're talking to your future peers, competitors, customers, and employers right there in the space. And another really cool thing that's happening because of people like Kimber Batt and Leslie Carhart and Kathleen Smith, we are all getting together and putting together mock interview workshops and resume review workshops. What a great way for you to advance in your career, learning from people. In fact, it's happening here today at Blackstone Cyber. My colleague, Jamal Drake, is doing resume reviews. He's been doing it for a few hours. He's going to do it for a few more hours. So get involved in that whenever, any chance you get. It's really cool. You can be on either side of the table and you're going to learn. Nothing is more fulfilling than hearing from people that they went to a village and they learned. I've got cool stories. I know a person, I don't know if they want to be called out or not, but I know a person who worked in a completely different industry. and showed up, started getting curious, started learning. This is, these are the types of people who they already have the gumption, they already have the interest. This is the type of person who, I'll give it away here, gets on an elevator and can't help themselves, opens up the thing, starts playing around with it, learns how to control it, right? Cool stuff like that. And tinkered down and got involved and started, and he's part of the village now. He's a car hacker now. That's cool. So you've got people who are hobbyists, people from the automotive industry, people who are in our industry, and people who are not. So everyone is welcome, and everyone fits in, and everybody is embraced. One thing our community does for sure is welcomes everyone and embraces everyone and includes everyone, and we love to teach, and we love to learn. So I've already touched on a whole lot of ways that this is going to potentially affect in a good way, in a beneficial way, your careers. You will become coaches, you'll become mentors, you will advance from learning to teaching, and you're going to be networking with everyone. I highly recommend going to talks, watching them if they're recorded, being involved in them if you get to do it in person. I highly also recommend, if you get a chance, look at the calls for paper when they come out. When you see it, take a shot. Take a shot, write your own paper. It's scary the first time. In fact, plan on getting rejected a whole bunch of times. There's a lot of people submitting to those talks. If you have a cool idea, ever had a cool idea in your car, in the shower, write it down. Write it down and submit it. See if it's something people are going to be interested in talking or hearing you talk about. And you will learn more from the rejections that you get. If you get rejected, when they give you cool feedback, you're going to learn a lot. And this is a good development area too, like how to tell your message, whether it's to your team or to your peers or to your customers or to the board of directors. You're going to have so many opportunities throughout your career to present data. And this is such a cool way for you to learn to do it in front of a camera like I am right now, or get up on a stage, or do it in a conference setting. Very cool. Highly recommend it. Start submitting your own talks. It's going to make you a better writer, a better communicator, and a better presenter. See if you can do some of the coaching yourself in some of the workshops that are happening. Again, in my own career journey, a la Car Hacking Village, these are going to be really beneficial experiences for you, and you're going to build some really valuable relationships. So what is next? Everybody wants to know, what are we doing? I'm recording this in January, but by the time you see it, it'll be February 2021. It'll actually be my birthday. Random fact. Don't hack me. We don't know yet. Last year was rough, just in general, just logistically. I don't know what we're going to do yet. But Robert Leali, founder of CAN Bus Hack, by the way, is also hiring. You can find him on Twitter, Car for Car. You can find me there. I am Krenner. You can also find me on LinkedIn if you have questions. We're here to help you, and enjoy the rest of your day.